Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of a brand new podcast that I'm looking to call UK League Chat. So, the idea behind this is literally just to talk about things that are going on in the UK League scene, whether it be UKLC, Forge of Champions, and maybe some things about maybe XL, seeing as they're from the UK, their stuff in the LEC as well. And hopefully getting some people on to talk about it with me as well. So, this one, for the first episode, I'll just go ahead with it myself. But more than welcome to have guests on, so if anyone wants to be on, drop me a DM and we'll sort something out. So as you can probably see from the title of this video, or if you're watching it on Spotify, the title of the podcast on there, this episode is hopefully is focused around the Forge of Champions final, as well as a couple of roster changes that have already happened as well. So I'll get started with the semi-final really. The semi-final was between Diabolus and M&M, and honestly, I actually thought M&M was going to take this one. They looked better in the quarterfinals, in my opinion. I think it was XL. They beat 2-0, and Diabolus struggled in theirs. It was a 2-1. I don't remember exactly who it was against off the top of my head. So I actually thought M&M were going to take it. I thought it'd be close. I thought it'd be a 2-1 for M&M, but it was just totally opposite, really. Monk did his best to carry like he always does, and I think it was in the first game he was actually doing pretty well, but Yusa was just too good. I mean, both games Yusa played really well, and it showed why both of them were one of the top ADCs really in Europe this year, or this split in the UK this split. And we also got in that series the first glimpse of Kerberos Vayne. For anyone that follows Kerberos on Twitter, he was teasing the Vayne pick the week up to the matches, and I think a bit of mind games as well, talking about how he'd been spamming it in solo queue, so everyone had to ban it against him, kind of bluffing really that it was actually a joke. But he actually pulled it out. It wasn't, I don't think, anything particularly amazing. It's certainly not why they won the games. I think it was more Yusa, to be honest. It was the main reason they won that series. But then to see them win 2-0, it was I thought that series was pretty convincing. The final was just totally opposite for Diabolus. I mean, the final against Fnatic, honestly, are just a gulf above everyone else in the UK right now. We'll see. Obviously, a lot of teams are going to swap their rosters around, so we'll see whether that stays to be the case. But honestly, I don't see, if Fnatic keep those players, I don't see out of the rest of the league who could be shuffled around to make a team that is near them, in all honesty. And I think a lot of that is Magic Felix as well. Unless someone else gets an import like that, I don't see it really happening. So this final, the first game didn't start bad for Diabolus. I think it was Monk. I think he was on Caitlyn. Not Monk, Yusa. And it started off really well. Their bot lane was going well. I think it was like a Caitlyn Morgana lane or something like that. And it was going great. Just didn't really take off into anything. I mean, Dan for Diabolus is just ridiculous. He's clearly the best. I think clearly the best jungler this year. More recently, I think I voted Wyzek actually for my best jungler. I think that was more just how well he did on not a struggling team, but not as a top team. But on this team where Fnatic, they can sit Shikari up in an island really, and he's not going to lose. And Dan can just freely go where he wants, mid or bot, and they just abuse that so well. One thing I would say Diabolus I think didn't do too well in this series. I think there were some picks that were a bit too easy for Fnatic to get. There was one point, I think it was Yusa and Hado in the mid lane, and I think Dan was on Rek'Sai, and it was, I don't know if they weren't paying attention, weren't looking at the mini map or what, but some of them like that were just way too easy. I think it was in the second match where we actually saw the Kerberos Vayne again, and in this game it actually looked a lot better. There was a couple of times he could 1v1 Shikari on his Vladimir, mainly when Vladimir's ult was down, but Kerberos I think was picking fights well, but just too many times Dan just shut it down as well. I think there's 2 or 3 times they went for the 1v1. I think there was one where Keros even got the kill, but by that time Dan was already there, and they just got the trade kill back straight away. So even though this game it was a lot better, that pick, they could still never really take advantage of it too much. Again, like I say, Shikari I think is one of the better junglers, one of the better top laners in the UK at just soaking up pressure. He don't have to play around him, but he's never going to lose too hard if they just let him sit top lane, and then that lets them focus on, on their bot lane and on MagiFelix, especially in mid. I don't want to take too much credit away from Diabolus though. I certainly don't think any other team probably would have done much better against them. Because it's in both finals really that they kind of, it was really one-sided. Obviously the UKLC final was a 3-0 for Fnatic, but really, like I said, I don't think any team could have done that much better. I think, well, obviously going into this split, a lot of people would have expected XL to really be the contenders with Fnatic, and that wasn't the case. So, I mean, all credit to Diabolus. I think they probably overachieved a bit really. And a lot of that credit does go to, in my opinion, I Hansen, the coach. We have now seen, I think it's the Spanish league he's gone to, so it's already announced that he's left Diabolus. So I think that would be a bit sad for the UK scene. We obviously lost a great coach there, was voted coach of the split. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see who he's replaced with really, see if Diabolus can stay as one of the top teams, and see what of their roster they keep together as well. Like I said, I don't think there's many players in the UK could be shuffled around to make much of a better team than Fnatic. Well, I said it for, but I think Diabolus really as well. I'm not sure there's too many places they could improve on their team that would be actually available players. I'd imagine being the LEC sister teams, Fnatic and XL will keep most of their team together, especially their better players anyway. So it's hardly like Diabolus are going to swap Krogs in for MagiFelix. I don't think that's going to happen. Otherwise, I don't think they'll get too much better, to be honest. That does bring us kind of onto the roster changes. So we've had a few so far. Obviously, everyone's done their looking for team tweets. And we've seen a couple of changes. So I think Haddo's actually left as well. I forget exactly where he's gone, but I think he went with I Hansen, if I remember correctly. So Haddo's gone as well. And he was one of the better players. Their bot lane was really strong, Diabolus, I think. A lot of it was due to Yusa, so if he stays, I'd like to see who his support will be, if they can keep that up. We have got, well, I said about the sister teams maybe sticking together. It does look like, I think especially Jeskla was going to leave XL, and that's mainly, I think, because Hjarnen's come in already for their main team. Well, Jeskla didn't actually play for their sister team. Obviously, XL did swap around more than Fnatic did, so there was a chance he would play. But I think Inax was one of the better parts of their team anyway. Inax did really well this year, so it may not affect their main team, their sister team too much. Their sister team may stick together. We'll see. But at the very least, I think that there has been a change in management as well. So Coach Ferndog was, and this is a bit of a sad one as well. He's been with XL for a few years now, for I think at least 2 or sort of 3 years, and from what I could tell, was a fairly big part in getting them in the LEC as well. So to see him step down or get fired, whatever it was, is a bit sad. They've replaced him with D-Lim, who has obviously got more experience at that level, but still not much experience actually really winning. I think it was TL Academy. He coached for a while, and Clutch Gaming, both in the LCS. So he has got that kind of top level experience. But even, I mean, what was Clutch's peak? A 3rd place playoff in spring 2018. So we'll see if that works out for them. Like I say, it does probably have a bit more experience. And I mean, the way that XL tried to do their roster with this whole 10-man system, I think, and I wrote an article on this as well, so I'll link that in the description, but I think that would only ever worked if you had full, complete backing of the coach and everyone bought into that system. Because obviously, with this kind of idea of swapping people out, it comes with a lot of psychological issues that were mental issues of the players that the coach has to be able to control. Things like, if a player gets dropped, maybe he knows he's going to come back already, so may not take the benching as much as seriously, really. So things like, for example, Kasing came down to the UKLC. Admittedly, at that point, it was when XL couldn't reach playoffs anyway, so they just kind of put him down there to let the other players get experience. But in this case, he was replaced with NineTeeSix, and NineTeeSix played really well. I thought he got the MVP in his first LEC game, and he showed that he could play at that level. Now, XL have gone and got Hyanan now, who was playing in Germany. Obviously, XG2 ADC was at World Semi-Final last year. So on paper, that looks like a really good pickup. He played with Kasing as well, I think on Vitality and H2K. So that tells you, after NineTeeSix played well in the LEC, and those last few weeks, he was a strong, solid player for them. Hyanan's in, Kasing's going to come back, and NineTeeSix is going to go back to the UKLC if he stays with XL. So in that kind of thing, it can send the wrong message to players, I think, sometimes, and that's why no team, well, very few teams can do this successfully. I mean, in Korea, it's for some teams it's quite popular as well. SKT used to do it over a number of years with sub players out quite frequently. This year they haven't done it as much, but that's obviously sort of culture differences in Korea as well to allow that to be better there. The only Western team that's really taken that much advantage of it is probably Cloud9 in the LCS. They've obviously got one of the more strong academy teams in NA, so they're able to shuffle players around. But there is that, like I say, that real mental coaching that has to be done and has to work for this kind of system. So, bit of ramble there, but the idea behind it is this 10-man system, although it's a nice on paper to say that we're going to play the strongest players each week and everyone's going to get their chance. Yeah, like I say, it's not that realistic. I don't think that, especially for a new team like that is going to really work. So unfortunately, I've seen Ferndog go. Not saying he's gone because of that 10-man system, but I just think the 10-man system wouldn't work unless they do have his full backing. So yeah, we'll see how that works for them now. I mean, the rest of their team, I think, will probably stick as it is for their LEC team. Expect was probably one of the better players. Cajal as well. They've shored up the bot lane a bit now, so they've got that experienced ADC, and they've got that experience of playing with the support as well. The only thing that may change, I say, maybe is mid lane. I'm not sure. Either Exile or shit, I forgot the other guy. But I don't think either of Excel's mid laners were setting anything on fire this year. I wouldn't be too surprised to see either of those replaced, if I'm being totally honest. And both of them had LEC or previous times EULCS experience as well. So I'm not sure either of them would be too happy to be sitting in the UKLC, to be honest. So I'd imagine if they do stick with one of them, they'll probably decide who is going to be the LEC player, and the other one will likely go, in my opinion. But we'll see. That may not be true, and I may be wrong. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this one. Not too long. I think that's about 15 minutes. So, like I say, I'll try and get some more people on. We'll have some longer chats. There is tonight the promotion relegation matches going on. As of when I'm recording this is on Wednesday the 15th. Hopefully I'm going to upload this today, and then do another episode as well on the promotion tournament. Maybe, who knows, see if I can get one of the players on. We'll see. So yeah, if you did like this, then be sure to follow NTS on Twitter, just at NineTeeSix. That's NineTeeSix. And follow me on Twitter as well. That's at NTS_Lee Jones. So that brings it to a close. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you're watching on there. And if you're listening on Spotify, do hit that follow button. So that's it. Thanks for watching.